Hello, my name is Aiman Nurhakim bin Mohd Sallehuddin with method number D2031109940, and I will explain about my individual assignment. Phishing. Phishing is a cybersecurity attack where the attacker impersonates as someone else, whether as a family member, a high authority officer, or someone trustworthy. The attacker goal is to deceive their victims to steal money, gain access to sensitive data, and login information, or to install malware on the victim's device. Next, we are going to discuss about the types of phishing. The first type of phishing is spear phishing. Spear phishing is when the attacker targets a specific individual in an organization to try to steal their login credentials. The second is email phishing. Email phishing is when the attacker sends an email to trick the victims into entering sensitive information. The third is HTTPS phishing. It's when the attacker sends a fake website to fool the victims into entering their private information. Next is vishing. Vishing is when the attacker uses their voice by calling their victims via phone to steal their victims' information. Next is smishing. Smishing is when attacker sends a fraudulent text message or SMS to their victims to steal their private information. And the final is pop-up phishing. Pop-up phishing is when the attacker uses a pop-up to trick the victims by downloading suspicious APK. How to detect phishing? The first step is identify the name of domains and emails. This is because domain names and email addresses can be easily spoofed. Thus, it is important to check for misspellings and alteration. The next step is not to fall for the urgency. This is because attackers usually use scare tactics to the victim to trick them to take immediate action without giving them time to think. Next is to keep your devices up to date by downloading trustworthy antivirus software and security apps to detect spam calls and antivirus software and can detect harmful files that could corrupt our devices. Topic 2: Intellectual Property. Why we should apply intellectual property? Because intellectual property gives inventors and creators exclusive rights to their work. Intellectual property laws allow them to profit from their investments and recoup their research and developmental costs. This, in turn, encourages them to continue to innovate and create new products and services that benefit society. Types of intellectual property, which is patent, copyright, and trademark. How to apply intellectual property using My IPO. Step 1 is to search My IPO in any search engine. Step 2, on the home page, click Online Services to make a new account. Step 3, click IP Online Search and Filling. Step 4 is to click Registration on the top of the screen. Step 5 is to choose Becoming a Registered User to create a new account. Step 6 is to choose either having an activation code or not having an activation code. If you have an activation code, choose Have an activation code or vice versa. Step 7 is to fill out your information for your profile and click submit. Step 8. Fill in your private information for your profile and then click submit. Step 9. After you have filled your information, you have created an account. Step 10 is to choose what kind of intellectual property that you wish to obtain and fill out all the needed documents for the IP requested. Topic 3. Privacy and Surveillance. What is surveillance? Surveillance refers to the continuous monitoring of the system across entire networks, which the main objective is to track, prevent, detect, analyze, and prevent any potential threats. This process involves the extraction, analysis, and interpretation of data and information gathered from various channels to assist network administrators. Types of surveillance. The first surveillance is database surveillance. Database surveillance is the monitoring and analysis of data stored in databases. It is to secure sensitive data and maintain the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of the database. The second surveillance is Internet surveillance. Internet surveillance is the gathering, observing, and analysis of information from emails, social media posts, browsing histories, and search terms. It is to track our whereabouts and keeping an eye on what we do. The third surveillance is video surveillance. Video surveillance is the monitoring and reporting activity in a specific area or location for security. It usually uses security cameras or CCTV to monitor the area. The fourth surveillance is social media surveillance. Social media surveillance is the collection and processing of personal data pulled from digital communication platforms like Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. The final surveillance is biometric surveillance. Biometric surveillance is when the individual characteristics such as face and fingerprints are being collected. It has become a threat to our privacy. Next, we are going to discuss about the examples of surveillance. For database surveillance, usually monitoring on logins and logins attempts. Also reviewing logs to identify anomalous activity. For internet surveillance, usually government agencies, corporations, and cybercriminals observe and collected our data by email, social media posts, browsing history, and search terms from the internet. For video surveillance, high security places set up security cameras. This is to ensure the visibility of all areas without checking it manually. For social media surveillance, third-party individuals monitor our interests, movement, address, and private information that we share in social media. They collect our data and can be used to their benefit. For biometric surveillance, cameras that have been equipped with facial recognition collects our face data. It is a breach of our privacy because it didn't receive any consent from the public. Monitoring your employees' computer activity. Monitoring employees' computer activities is very common in offices of companies. Employers monitor the employees use websites and apps, the amount of time they spend on different tasks, what files were uploaded, downloads, and transferred, and how active they are on their computers. Monitoring the employees' computer activities helps employers to ensure that the employees does not slack off by opening unnecessary websites and focus on their tasks. Employers can install monitoring softwares in all of the company computers to monitor their employees. Software such as Terramind, ActiveTrack, and HubStep are the common softwares that most companies use. These apps can monitor on how much time employees spend on different applications and websites, keyboard activity, and websites blocking. Does government spy on their citizens? Yes, the government does spy on their citizens. There are various reasons why the government spy on us, such as for national identity, national security, crime prevention, and taxation. The government collects our data to administrative records such as our home address, phone number, identification, and email address. The government. The government also monitors our movement by putting closed circuit television (CCTV) on public areas. The government can also track our movement by identifying citizens in the border crossing and immigration. Is surveillance an ethical issue? Surveillance is an issue that has numerous ethical issues because it is likely to contribute to a violation of our privacy and rights. It is because surveillance invades our rights and privacy by monitoring our activities, communication, and movements. It is Surveillance creates an environment of discomfort and anxiety to citizens and causes the chilling effect, where citizens become wary of exercising their right of speech and engaging in protest. Surveillance creates an environment. How to prevent public government surveillance? One of the ways to prevent surveillance is by using virtual private network (VPN), which allows our computer to be digitally connected with a remote server owned by a VPN provider. This server creates a point-to-point tunnel that encrypts our personal data, masks our IP address, and avoids website blocks and firewalls on the internet. Next is by using encrypted messaging apps such as Telegram, WhatsApp, and Signal. This is because when sending a message to other users, the device uses the recipient public key to scramble the message content. Users. Next is browsing the web privately. In a search engine, we can browse the internet privately by switching into incognito mode. This mode allows the user to stay anonymous because the data is destroyed shortly after. Topic 4. Computer Reliability. Why reliability in computer system is important? The first reason is ensures functionality. A reliable system provides the right output whenever it delivers its services. Computational outcome is reliable and meets the performance standard, and it also does not glitch in unpredictable ways and cause error when given tasks. The second reason is minimizes downtime, which a certain system is unusable or rather unavailable. A reliable system has a lower rate of failure. An unreliable system will cause sudden errors and failure in processing data. It will cause data corruption resulting from the system failures. The next reason is enhances security. A reliable system would be harder to break in and minimizes security break-ins. well-protected and designed system is likely to be susceptible to exploitation. It is equipped with powerful firewall and antivirus to suppress cyber attacks. An engineering disaster. Terrac 25. Terrac 25 was a radiation treatment machine manufactured in the 1980s to treat cancer victims. However, this machine had software glitch and design failure. The Terrac 25 has several instances where it administered patients with unreasonably high doses of radiation. The failure of this computer is caused by a software bug. It caused the Terrac 25 software to be full of flaws, with errors that could cause the incorrect calculation of dosage. It causes the continuation increase of doses administered to the victim, and it has caused the death of 6 patients. This machine also lacks of safety features because it does not have safety mechanisms like alarms or an automatic shutdown system. This incident caused skepticism and unreliability to computer systems to the public. Nokia BlackBerry versus iPhone Android. Nokia BlackBerry. In the early 1990s, phones were much simpler because phones only had calls, messaging, alarms, and some had radio feature on them. Unlike today's smartphones that have countless features such as GPS, video streaming, search engine, video games, and many more. One of the pros for earlier phones is their durability. Nokia and BlackBerry phones were highly durable compared to today's smartphone. Nokia is considered as indestructible, unlike today's smartphone, which could break falling off the table. This is because Nokia and BlackBerry phones were made of thick plastic, while today's smartphones were made mostly of aluminium and glass, which is fragile. One of the pros The second pros for earlier phones is their battery life. Nokia and BlackBerry battery can last up to 3 days. However, today's smartphone can only last less than 20 hours. This is because smartphone consumes more power to function optimally due to the various features such as GPS, internet, LCD screens, camera, and many more. However, smartphones also have their own advantages, such as features. Smartphones have more advanced features, such as the internet, compared to earlier phones that could not connect to the internet. We can access to any information with a simple tap on our smartphone. It is because we can also use our smartphone as a GPS, camera, a remote, wallet, and others. Smartphones also have better security system than earlier phones. Today's smartphones also equipped with the latest security software and are always up to date. This is to prevent bugs and malware from attacking our smartphones. Earlier smartphones that could not update by themselves and were not equipped with antivirus. Topic 5. Professional Ethics. My Sejahtera Morally Responsible Relationships. The first morally responsible relationship is to the public. My Sejahtera is an app that is useful for the public to survive the pandemic efficiently. It is because it satisfies the public interest by monitoring their health and receiving reliable information about the pandemic. It informs the public on where and when their appointment for a vaccination. This app also keeping records on the movement of citizens so that the government can monitor and inform if there is an outbreak on that area. My Sejahtera gives clear instructions to the public on what to do when being infected with COVID-19. This app traces the infected individual's location to ensure that the individual abides to home quarantine. This app is completely free, which means the public can easily access the app anytime and anywhere. The next morally responsible relationship is to the client and employers. MySejahtera, acting in the best interest of both the client, which is the Malaysian government, and the employer of the governmental company. It addresses the need for an accessible, transparent, and effective pandemic control tool for the Malaysian citizens. To create this app, partnership with various government bodies to ensure that MySejahtera aligns with strategies to control and stop the pandemic. It ensures that the app complies with the relevant laws and regulations for data protection laws. To create this app, partnership with various government bodies to ensure. Next is product. Software engineers ensure that their product and related modifications meet the highest professional standards possible by conducted quality testing, by identifying bugs, vulnerabilities, and issues of the app. They also add user feedback features so that user can send their suggestions to further improve the app. Next is judgment. Software engineers maintain integrity and independence in their technical and professional judgment. They also set some ground rules that must be obeyed to ensure that the decisions made by software engineers are ethical. Need to make independent technical decisions to prioritize the user safety, data security, privacy, and functionality.